Welcome, thanks for joining us. Today we're diving into something pretty intense in the gaming world. We're looking at World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore Realms. This isn't your usual stroll through Azeroth, is it?
Not at all. It's fundamentally different.
Yeah.
Survival isn't just part of the game. It's everything. One mistake and you're done.
Exactly. That single life changes the whole dynamic. So we've gathered some info to help you understand it better. We've got the official rules from Blizzard.
Right, the baseline.
Advice from veteran players on forums, guides, the community wisdom.
People who've lived it.
And lists of really dangerous quests and zones that players have flagged as potential run enders.
Death traps, basically.
Yes,
Learn the
so
hard way.
Our goal here is to pull out the key stuff from all this. We want to show you how the rules shape the challenge, where those hidden dangers are according to the folks who play, and the actual tactics people use to stay alive.
Yeah, it's about understanding the landscape and having the right strategies.
Okay, let's kick things off with the foundation. Blizzard's own rules. The non-negotiable stuff baked into the game.
It's fascinating how just a few rule tweaks completely reshape the experience. The absolute core rule, the one that impacts every single click, is permadeath.
One life.
That's it. One life. Character dies. It's over on hardcore. They become a ghost. Now, you can transfer them off to a normal classic era realm.
Okay.
But their hardcore journey. Finish. That constant pressure, that consequence, it's always there.
It really forces you to think differently about every fight, doesn't it? You can't just charge in. What about player conflict? Is player versus player a big threat?
Blizzard actually clamped down on that quite a bit for
Ah.
hardcore. You can't get accidentally flagged for PvP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to physically type PvP to opt in.
Yeah.
And things like battleground queues, they're disabled entirely.
So they're trying to keep the focus on surviving the world, not other players ambushing you.
Exactly. It removes that major source of unexpected kind of random death. Makes it more about mastering the environment, the monsters, the quests.
Makes sense for a permadeath setup. What about dungeons? Normally, people grind those a lot for levels.
Well, that's different too. If you're under level 60, dungeons have a 24-hour lockout timer. Once you run it, you can't go back in for a full day.
A whole day. Wow.
Yep. And another thing, level 60 characters. They can't even enter the lower level dungeons with you.
So no getting boosted by high-level friends.
Right.
Yeah.
It really pushes you towards questing in the open world, maybe small groups your own level, but mainly surviving out there on your own or with a partner.
So more focus on the world itself. Does that connect to getting gear and supplies?
Absolutely. This is a big one.
Wow, okay. That makes things like blacksmithing or tailoring way more critical. And managing your bags must be a nightmare.
It forces that solo self-found kind of experience, I also saw they targeted a specific class ability, something paladins used to rely on.
Yeah, the bubble hearth, that classic escape move.
Right. Divine Shield makes you immune, then Hearthstone out. Well, not anymore in hardcore. You cannot use your Hearthstone while Divine Shield is active.
So they took away that get-out-of-jail-free card for paladins.
Pretty much. Puts them more on par with other classes for escape options. Seems like they really wanted to limit those guaranteed escapes.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. What about griefing? Like players kiting big monsters onto others.
They tackled that too. The distance a monster will chase you before it gives up and runs back. The leash range is much shorter now.
Okay.
Blizzard calls it danger leashed. It basically stops people from dragging scary elite monsters across half the zone to kill low-level players.
Good. So the rules create this high-stakes, self-reliant survival game focused on the world, less on unpredictable player actions, but the world itself is still dangerous, right?
Oh, absolutely. Even with these rules, Azeroth is full of ways to die. Which brings us to the community wisdom, the specific quests and areas veteran players say, just don't do it.
Why skip quests, though? Isn't that how you level?
It is, but some quests are just not worth the risk in hardcore. We're talking quests with brutal elite monsters, quests deep inside confusing caves with fast respawns, quests with surprise mechanics that can wipe you instantly. The risk versus reward is just way off.
Okay, give us some examples. Where are these notorious danger zones?
Sure, let's start with Horde-side, Silverpine Forest. The whole chain involving Arugel, like Arugel's Folly and going into the Dead Fields. Seasoned players often skip it.
Why's that?
The Sons of Arugel. They patrol randomly, they're high level, they move fast, and they can apparently one-shot cloth wearers. Just appear out of nowhere.
Yikes, a random patrol wiping you out. Yeah, I see why you'd avoid that. What about Alliance? Any specific spots?
Duskwood, the quest involving Morladam. He's a level 35 elite undead, hits incredibly hard, and crucially, he fears you.
Oh, the fear mechanic. Sends you running.
Right into other packs of mobs, or off a cliff sometimes. He's known for ending runs, a real character killer.
Man, Duskwood's already creepy enough. And Stranglethorn Vale. That zone always felt dangerous.
It definitely has its share of death traps. Players often skip the whole Bloodsail Buccaneers questline, especially later on. And those final Hunter Mastery quests for the Tiger, Panther, Raptor pets, those send you into areas packed with enemies. We're talking really tight camps, hard to pull just one mob, super quick respawns, and caster mobs that heal each other. It's just a recipe for getting swarmed.
Tight camps, fast respawns, healers. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare scenario in hardcore. What about later levels? Deserts.
Moving down towards Tenaris, then Ungoro Crater, there's a quest called Pawn Captures Queen. It's an escort quest.
Escorts are always risky.
Exactly. And this one involves fighting 3 elite Silitids inside a cave. Bad combo. Escort non-player character you can't control. Multiple elites, confined space. Community sources flag it as having a really high death rate.
Escorts in caves seems like a recurring theme. Any other Ungor or dangers?
Yeah, the end of that long linking quest chain. The final quest, it's dangerous to go alone. It features a level 52 elite, Blaze Runner, but the real kicker is you get teleported into a room that locks behind you.
Trapped with an elite.
No thanks. Right. No escape route if things go bad. Obvious skip for most hardcore players.
Terrifying. Any other surprisingly tough ones? Maybe something that looks easier than it is?
Thousand Needles has one. The quest for Grenka Bloodscreech. Now, Grenka might show up as a regular non-elite mob.
Okay.
But players warn he dual wields and can crit for over 300 damage at that level. Enough to flatten many characters in a couple of hits. He's like a sleeper elite. Looks harmless, hits like a truck.
Those hidden dangers are scary. And you mentioned a general type of quest to avoid, too.
Yeah, basically any chicken escort quest, and really any escort quest that passes through a really dense enemy area, the risk isn't just you dying, it's the non-player character you're escorting dying.
Right, if the NPC bites the dust, the quest fails.
And you're often left standing alone in a dangerous spot. You just risked everything to clear for the escort. It's just often not worth the hassle and danger.
So, putting it all together, the community wisdom suggests a rule of thumb. Deep caves, open world escorts, anything marked elite, treat with extreme caution.
Or just skip them entirely, yeah. Unless you are way over-leveled, like 5, maybe even 8 levels higher, or you have a really solid, coordinated group you trust.
Knowing when to just walk away is key then.
Absolutely. Reaching level 60 is the achievement, not ticking every quest box.
Okay, so we know the rules, we know the places to avoid. Let's talk about how people actually survive. The strategies, the best practices from experienced players.
Well, this is the proactive stuff.
Yeah.
Because knowing the dangers isn't enough. You need the right habits. And probably the most common piece of advice is overlevel your current zone.
Meaning stick to fighting monsters that are green or maybe light yellow to you. Don't rush into the harder orange stuff.
Precisely. It feels slower, maybe less efficient in terms of pure experience points per kill against harder mobs.
But safer.
Way safer. The time you spend grinding those slightly easier mobs is nothing compared to the time lost starting over from level 1 if you die pushing too hard. That level buffer gives you breathing room if you make a mistake or get an unexpected ad.
Makes sense. What about professions? Are some better than others for hardcore?
Oh yeah, definitely. Herbalism and alchemy together are huge favorites.
For potions.
Exactly. Free healing potions, swiftness potions for running away. It's massive utility you provide for yourself. Engineering is another top pick. Bombs for damage or stunning, nets to slow enemies, maybe even rocket boots for escapes.
Self-sufficiency and escape tools seem key. I also read something about leveling a specific skill.
Defense skill. Yeah, this is super important. Something better in player stress. Always keep your defense skill maxed out for your current level.
How do you even do that actively?
Find some really weak mobs, like gray or low green ones that barely hurt you, and just let them hit you for a while. Yeah. Until the skill caps for your level.
Why is that so crucial?
It drastically cuts down the chance of getting hit by a crushing blow. Those are massive hits from mobs several levels above you that can pretty much ignore a chunk of your armor. Preventing those can literally save your life.
That's a great classic mechanic tip. And you mentioned crafting potions is just having them enough.
No, absolutely not. You need to carry stacks of healing potions, bandages, maybe some buff food, elixirs, free action potions. Always have them. And this is critical. Use them.
Don't hoard them for a rainy day.
No. The rainy day is now in hardcore. Pop a potion the moment you think things might get dicey. Don't wait until you're at 10% health. They're useless if you're dead. Using consumables proactively is just expected survival.
That ties into another crucial point, doesn't it? Not about game mechanics, but about the player.
Staying focused. Hugely important. One source suggested something like 80% of hardcore deaths aren't from crazy elite bosses.
Really? What are they from then?
Simple mistakes. Pulling an extra mob accidentally. Running into a patrol you didn't see. Looking away from the screen for just a second, going AFK or alt-tabbing.
Seriously. Don't play hardcore when you're tired or distracted. Your character's life literally depends on you paying attention all the time.
One sleepy mistake means permadeath. Grim. Okay, so you're focused, you're in the zone. How should you actually approach fighting?
Always pull with a plan. Use the environment. Line of sight pulling is huge pullcaster mobs around a corner or a tree so they have to run to you. Lets you fight them one-on-one.
Break up groups that way.
Exactly. If you're grouping, mark targets clearly. And never, ever fight deep inside a cave or a crowded building without knowing exactly how you're going to get out if you need to run. Have that escape route planned before you pull.
And while you're fighting one group, you need eyes in the back of your head, right? For respawns.
Oh yeah. Classic respawn timers can be brutally fast. Like 2 to 5 minutes in some spots. You clear a pack, turn around to fight the next one, and boom, the first pack is back right behind you.
Nasty surprise. You have to be mindful. Either clear carefully behind you as you move forward, or maybe fight closer to the entrance of an area so you have space to retreat and less chance of getting boxed in by respawns.
Makes sense. What about playing with others? Is grouping always better?
It can be, if you do it smart. A good duo, especially classes that complement each other well, like a warrior and a priest, that can seriously boost your survival odds compared to going purely solo.
Having a reliable partner helps cover weaknesses.
For sure. It doesn't completely break the self-found idea if you're both contributing, but it adds a huge safety net.
Any other core habits people should adopt?
Use played. Not just to see how long you've been playing, but check your rested experience bonus. And always, always log off in an inn or a major city.
To build up that rested XP.
Yeah. It acts like a little buffer in your experience bar. If you do happen to die right after leveling up, having that rested XP helps your next character catch up a bit faster if you decide to go again. It's a small thing, but it helps.
Okay, those are some solid, fundamental strategies. But the sources mention even more tips, sort of extra layers of safety.
Yeah, some bonus pointers that really help maximize your odds. Building on the cave danger, just don't go into deep caves alone. Seriously.
Worth repeating, huh?
Absolutely. Cramped spaces, fast respawns, mobs hiding around corners. Pulling one often means pulling 3 or 4, and there's nowhere to run. Get a partner you trust, or just skip those quests. The risk is rarely worth the reward in hardcore.
Are there add-ons specifically for hardcore that people rely on?
Oh, definitely. Add-ons are pretty much essential. There's the main hardcore add-on itself, helps track your run, verifies rules if you're doing community challenges. Then there's Deathlog.
Deathlog? What's that?
It shows you where other players on your server in your current zone have recently died and how they died.
Whoa, real-time danger map.
Kind of. It's morbidly useful. Gives you a heads up about dangerous spots or specific mobs causing trouble right now. There are also questing add-ons like RestedXP HC that suggest safer routes and highlight known dangerous quests.
Knowing how others died. Intense, but useful. Any others for spotting danger?
Unit scan or NPC scan. You can figure these to pop up a big alert if specific dangerous rare mobs spawn nearby, like those Sons of Arugal or Steel Snap in the Barrens. Gives you a crucial warning to either get out of there fast or brace yourself.
Advanced warning systems. Nice. And what about layers? That's still a thing in Classic, right?
Yep. Nova World Buffs is useful here. Even though world buffs are mostly off in hardcore dungeons, the add-on still shows your current layer and keeps track of zone populations.
How does that help survival?
You can spot if a layer is super crowded, which might mean more competition for mobs, more accidental pulls, just generally more chaos. Sometimes switching to a quieter layer can be safer.
Using server mechanics to your advantage.
Yeah.
Clever. Any final quick tips? Interface stuff?
2 big ones. Turn on enemy nameplates always. Helps you spot stealth mobs way earlier.
Good.
And keybind a panic pot. Your best healing potion, maybe a free action potion. Put it on a key you can hit instantly without thinking mouse button, extra keyboard key, whatever. Don't fumble through your bags when things go sideways. Milliseconds matter.
That bag fumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely no time for that in hardcore. And there was one last memorable tip about bags.
The jalapeno bag.
Ah, what's that?
It's dedicating one specific inventory slot, or even a whole tiny bag, just for your absolute emergency escape items. Swiftness potion, free action potion, maybe engineering escape tools like rocket boots, mana gems, or runes for casters.
So you know exactly where they are.
Exactly. Things go bad, you don't search. You pop open that one slot, click what you need, and run. Instant access to your lifeline.
The jalapeno bag. I love it. Perfect metaphor for needing that instant escape option.
It really sums up the mindset, doesn't it? Hyper prepared for the worst, always.
Okay, let's try and quickly recap the essentials we've pulled out. To survive World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore, you first need to internalize those strict Blizzard rules, especially permadeath, that changes everything.
Foundation.
Then you need the community wisdom, knowing which specific quests and areas are just known death traps, and having the discipline to skip them.
Avoid the known killers.
And finally, it's about adopting those vigilant everyday survival habits. Over leveling, using professions for utility, maxing defense skill, always having and using consumables, staying totally focused, planning pulls, watching respawns, grouping smart, and using those key add-ons and tricks like the jalapeno bag.
Spot on. You layer all that together, rule knowledge, avoiding danger spots, diligent habits, and your chances of actually making it go way, way up. As someone said, reaching level 60 is the achievement because that journey is just so unforgiving.
That feeling of accomplishment must be immense. So, thinking about all this, the absolute finality of permadeath, this incredibly detailed list of strategies, from quest skipping down to specific bag setups. How much of survival do you think comes down to just knowing everything, having all the guides memorized, versus the player's pure ability to stay focused, second by second, and execute perfectly when things inevitably go wrong? What's that balance between intense preparation and constant presence of mind really tell us about what makes this challenge so unique and so compelling? Something to chew on next time you log into that hardcore realm.